not sure when this actually released. If it had like a theatrical run.
I think it had a theatrical, and then it had.
Was it like limited? It was.
I think it's super limited. And then
yeah, release date.
We have the same background, Brent.
August.
Two things.
Yeah, look at that. August 13th. So it did have a limited. But this is a review. excuse me, for CODA, which was nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. It also did very well at the SAG Awards. Ruby Rossi is the child of deaf adults, or CODA, and the only member of her family who can hear. The burden of translating for her family falls on her, which takes a left turn when she discovers her gift and drive for singing and music. Emelia Jones stars as Ruby, Marlee Matlin as Jackie Rossi, Oscar-nominated Troy Kotsur as Frank Rossi, Daniel Durant as Leo Rossi, and Eugenio Derbez as Bernardo.
Nice.
Sure, I get that right for him.
Yeah.
Bernardo Villalobos.
Yes.
I butchered that.
It happens.
Like just a meat market butcher. Just hacked it apart.
Like a birra in his hometown of Mexico, in his home country of Mexico.
Right. Bernardo.
I can't roll my R's. I'd be too powerful. Nah, I'd be too powerful.
What does that mean?
I can't do it. It just I would not stop if I could roll my R's.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So this is an Apple original, I think.
Yeah.
What did you think about this film?
Okay, so at the very beginning, I sent you a text. I was like, I really like the beginning of this movie. I really like the middle of this movie. And then the end was a little too hammy for me and didn't work as much as I wanted it to.
Really?
I wanted it to go a different direction at the end. And are we doing non-spoiler right now?
Well, we'll do non-spoiler.
Non-spoiler. Okay. I thought the acting in this movie was superb. I love the subtitles. They just let them do their sign language, no subtitles. So you are just basing it off of their expressions.
You didn't have subtitles?
No. This was no subtitles on. Yeah. You could choose to have it. And it was no subtitles.
You didn't watch this movie with
no,
subtitles.
I wanted to watch it the way they wanted you to see it.
Are you kidding me?
Mm-mm.
I don't know how we can have the same review of this movie then.
Oh, we'll have the same review.
I don't know.
So I think we will. I mean, a lot of it's emotion and things like that. Like,
sure,
you don't
and
have
some of the things are obvious.
Yeah, a lot of things are obvious. I mean, yeah. I understood everything back and forth to everyone and what was going on. The biggest problem that I had, and I'll get into the spoiler, was just the way that the movie ended up. Sure. I really liked everything. I love the emotion. Like, for me, not watching with subtitles was cool. I know a little bit of sign language just based on I had a friend that actually is she has hearing implants and she taught me some. Sure. And so like I knew a little bit of that, and then sometimes I would have her talk to me like that while she was talking, so I would just pick up on it. I think it's very cool. I would like to actually get fluent in it because I think it'd be a very important thing to get really good at. So I really enjoyed all this. Marlee Matlin is awesome. She was one of the best people on Seinfeld ever with that.
I couldn't place it. I couldn't place her.
The tennis episode, and George had her, read lips.
Read lips. Yep.
And
I couldn't place her until I went back.
I love, this is one of those movies where I was like, this, I would say 80% of the way, I'm like, this is at least a 9 for me because I really, really enjoyed everything. And the ending just didn't work for me. It doesn't drop it a significant amount with the ending, but based on what I know, the school that she was trying to get into, Berkeley, the best music school in the country, arguably, that kind of threw me at the end, where what happens. And I'm not going to spoil it now, but so a good movie. I understand why it was nominated because it kind of is that scheme of it fits all that criteria, but to me, not a great movie.
Yeah, it probably comes through in some of the scenes as far as, like you said, like the emotion or what's being conveyed. But I do think that being able to understand what they're signing is really important, because it goes a long way towards defining the comedy of this movie.
Oh,
This
no, I
is
laughed a lot.
this is a very funny movie.
It's very funny, very funny.
But it comes down to the comfortability of the family when they're engaging with each other. They're so crude with the things that they're
very
saying.
Crude.
They're
Yes.
very crude, and it's very funny the way that it comes out through the sign, because people around them don't know, and they're, saying things. I kind of get what you're saying about the ending per se. I think that is maybe splitting hairs a little bit. If you're going the direction I think you are. But overall, very well acted. Her brother, father, and mother, all deaf actors. Troy Kotsur nominated for Best Supporting Actor as her dad. I thought, excellent. Very
He's
powerful.
amazing in this movie.
Yeah, very powerful performance as well. It's a feel good story, and that's why it won't win. It won't win Best Picture. I think he's got a great shot at.
I do too. Yeah.
At supporting. It won't win Best Picture just because, like, feel good kind of comedy type things never win. They just don't. No. It's fun for them to be nominated, but they never win. But I will say that I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I had the subtitles on, and if that's the way that you choose to go, definitely don't have your phone with you, because if you get into that FOMO thing where you're checking your Instagram or Facebook or whatever, you're going to miss something, because there's a lot of subtitles. But I really enjoyed it. I was not sure like what to make of it at the outset, and I was in like first 5 minutes. I was good.
Yeah, I told you. I think I texted you 5 minutes in. I was like, I'm into this.
It picks 100%. Up quick. It moves pretty quickly, in a good, and what I would say would be a good way. Yeah. It is only, to my knowledge, I think it's only on Apple right now. I don't think you can get it on like Prime or anything.
It's just on Apple,
like being able to buy it or what have you. But excellent movie. And now we're gonna spoil it, which this doesn't mean spoil. I mean, this means clapping.
Yeah, it means clapping. So this is where I'll get into it. Is I went to a performing arts school,
right?
That was not Berkeley,
right?
Okay, still a very well-regarded performing arts school. There was, when I went there, it was the #2 dance school in the country, and it had a really good musical program. I knew people that made it to at least New York City to do plays, Broadway. I think 1 or 2 people I graduated with were like close to Broadway, didn't make it to Broadway, but close to Broadway. So I've been there for auditions.
That explains your chicken dance.
That explains my chicken dance.
Right.
And so I've heard people audition for the school. I've been to my friends actually competing for things and sat on it. And the problem that I had, and as much as I love this movie, and I will say the scene where her dad touches her throat while she's singing.
Yes.
If that doesn't do anything if you do not, I mean, I cried. It was a great scene. The way they build up to that is great. I mean, it gets you. I mean, if you have anything at all, it's like I say now, I used to not cry at all. I never even, it felt like Jerry Seinfeld for a while, where I didn't know what the salty discharge was. And, and then I hit 31, and for a reason, I just like, everything makes me cry. I don't know why.
Right. Yeah.
But, maybe it's probably a sign of maturity. I'm guessing that's probably what like a psychologist would say or a psychiatrist would say. Who knows? But anyhow, that scene hit me. I thought that scene was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah.
And and so that scene hits you very hard, and you're like, oh, we'll see how this ends up. And then she gets her audition at Berkeley. And like I said, one of the best music schools in the country. And I thought the performance, while everything was like, okay, to some degree, it was a little too cheesy for me. I didn't think, like, her parents being able to sneak upstairs and her family being able to sneak upstairs, that's okay. That's one thing. But the thing that actually struck me more than anything was that she wasn't that good. She was good, but it wasn't, to me, something that would get you into Berkeley.
Let me ask you this question then.
Yes.
Do you think that if it had been any other school or just a fictional performing arts school, would you have bought it more?
Yes.
Okay, so here's where I would kind of like maybe, I don't want to say challenge you, but
no,
just
feel free.
Spin it a different way. Is I think that it was important because they were a like northeastern fishing business. Mm-hmm. It was important to be set like near Cape Cod, near that part of the country. Mm-hmm. And so if you're in that part of the country, that's going to be the go-to for that. Like if you're really smart, you're going to go to MIT or Harvard in a movie like this.
Or you're going to go one of those. Yeah.
So it is.
I totally get that.
It was a geographical choice as much as anything else, I think.
And I get that completely. I get that completely. And this is picking nits. This to me is just picking nits. But that's what you have to, I think that's, to me, that's distinguishing a good movie to a great movie. And it's just, this is one of those things where like, I would have liked if she does the performance and they're like, you're really good. Maybe you're waitlisted, something like that. Or, you're not necessarily good enough to hear, but why don't you go to this school and then a year from now apply and see how things are going. That's where I was at with that, where, I mean, it's Berkeley. This
is based on a true story, isn't it?
I actually don't know on that.
I believe, or a novel.
And that was my biggest flaw with this movie. It was just that ending did not live up to how good everything else, how believable everything else was when that final performance. And she's a good singer, but she's not a mind-blowing singer in that final performance. So that's a picking nit. But to me, that's what you have to do with movies that win the big awards.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, not based on a true story. Aspects of the movie mirror real life situations, which is the case in a lot of movies, especially Fast and the Furious movies. Anyway,
oh yeah, my day-to-day life,
everyday life. I think that, like I said, really great movie.
Yeah, it's so great. It's a very good movie, is what I'll say.
Here's the thing about this movie is because it's nominated for Best Picture, I just kept assuming something horrible was going to happen. So, for example, when they were jumping off the cliffs, I was like, oh, well, she's going to hit her head and then she's going to be deaf too. Or the boyfriend was. And maybe that's just
something
being me.
No, that's not you. I think that's Academy though.
But that's what I just kept like, okay, what bad is going to happen here? What thing that is bad is going to happen to ruin the happy ending? Because movies that get nominated for the Academy Award never end happily. I will cite very specifically Don't Look Up. That ending is so unhappy that it still makes me anxious thinking about it.
Yeah.
But from that point of view, it was like, it's very funny. It's very heartwarming.
Super funny.
It's a coming of age story for Ruby. And it kind of shows that, I guess that's the one thing that I maybe think that they could have highlighted a little bit more. I mean, they did take the time to highlight it, especially with the scene in which her dad was basically telling her boyfriend, not boyfriend at the time, gotta wrap it up sort of thing. And then it got out into the school. But I do think that there's probably a level of scrutiny that goes with being the only hearing child of a deaf family. And I think they touched on that a little bit. I guess they didn't go overboard. It might have ruined the tone that they were going for if they had gone into that specific situation a little bit more. But overall, I thought that they did a very good job of demonstrating what it would be like growing up with this circumstance, the difficulty it would be to be so relied on by the rest of your family, to the point where she had to make the choice. It's like, it's either me or my family. And then ultimately, the moment that you had mentioned where she was singing and her dad was, holding her, And that's a very powerful scene. And that, like, that's the scene where it's like, that's why he's nominated, you know,
Right.
As much as anything else, because he does just tip to tail, stem to stern, some would say.
Yeah. Stem to stern.
Little boat reference. Gives a really great performance. But overall, I thought that this movie was very good. I give it probably an 8.5.
And mine would be a 7.5. That's where I would give it.
So it puts it at an 8.
But it's an 8, yeah. So
it's a solid B plus.
That's a good grade for a movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
I'll be interested. I don't know how many we'll get to watch. I'm gonna see Licorice Pizza.
Yeah, we're gonna try to watch as many as we can.
I'll be interested to see where like our final grades are for all these and if it matches Spider-Man No Way Home. We didn't grade Don't Look Up. Which, by the way, did really badly critically. It did 55% on Rotten Tomatoes, I believe.
Right.
If we're,
Well, that's the problem. We had this conversation last week. Obviously, it was kind of our lead conversation. Is it's a reference point for us,
right? Mm-hmm.
More so than like the be all end all. It's just kind of nice to have it as a reference point.
Right.
55 tomato meter, 78 audience for Don't Look Up. And then just as a reference point as well, CODA 95 critical, 93 audience. So there's that. It's really good. It's really good. It's so crude at times.
Yes.
That's really what I think makes it probably like it's a good, I think it's a good movie. It would be a good movie to watch with your significant other just because of the fact that it's so crude. It's funny.
Right.
Like the type of guy who's into sort of like the heartwarming story per se. It's like they're so crude to each other that it's very funny in that way. But I also think, like I said, it's a very heartwarming sort of deal. What would you give Don't Look Up?
I probably would give it a 7.
Yeah, 7, 6.5 maybe.
Yeah, I'd say 7. Yeah, because the performances are still really good, and that has to still matter,
Yeah, some of them. Yeah, no, I guess they are. So yeah, it grades out to an 8. I give it an 8.5. You gave it a 7.5 for CODA. Nominated Best Picture. Nominated Best Supporting Actor Troy Kotsur. Apple TV. Check it out.